my unsuspecting people. It's a huge extortion racket. In 1640, Habeas Corpus Act, which is also contained within me, ordained that
unless and until a jury trial is held and an event of a judicial nature occurs, no costs are payable by either side in proceedings, regardless of any direction from any Parliament.
In other words, only a jury can award costs, and any ruling made by a single judge without your consent or a jury is illegal and invalid. Period. On August 20th, 2001, the penalty was fixed at 25 years jail for both the solicitor and the judge who commit the crime of costs orders. It comes under slavery in the Criminal Code Act, Section 268(10). Did you also know, my people, that variable interest loans are illegal? For a loan contract or any agreement under common law, there are 8 essential elements. There must be an offer, acceptance, sufficient consideration, capacity to contract, intention to enter legal relations, legality of purpose, genuine consent, and certainty of terms. Variable in the Oxford English Dictionary means uncertain. The fraud committed by the banks is contract fraud under common law, the uncertain terms of variable interest. Did you know, my people, that banks never lend depositors money? All bank loans are new money created out of nothing. It used to be at the stroke of a pen, but today it is nothing more than electronic blips in their computer system. Traitorous politicians have given the banks the power to create the nation's money, which they lend to you, and they demand interest on it. That interest can never be repaid, because it does not exist. The only way you can pay that interest is to get money off someone else, who also got it from someone else, but it can ultimately be traced back to a bank loan, which is the only source of money today. Judges and lawyers deny your right to trial by jury, and that is how they prevent the evidence of fraud. They protect the banks who dispossess tens of thousands of families of their homes and property every year, and they are directly responsible for many suicides. It is modern-day slavery. Slavery has long been a sad part of man's history, yet in 1807 it was abolished through the dedicated efforts of one man, William Wilberforce. He had no internet, no CDs, no phones, none of the powerful means of communication you have today. He won the victory in the courts and in the Parliament using the very same laws and rights you still have, and he won the battle against formidable and powerful enemies. How did he do it? As a genuine Christian, he had little interest in sanctimonious gatherings in pews of indifference behind closed doors. Like a true evangelist, he took the message out to the people, and he knew that a jury of 12 who genuinely prayed, "So help me God," is the most powerful weapon against tyranny, fraud and corruption that you have. This is practical Christianity in action. Slavery has been around a long time. It was abolished by the power of God, not by a flash of lightning miracle, but through informed jurors. But did you know that juries also have the power to overrule and abolish bad laws? Yes, and that includes most of the rules found in an insidious document used by lawyers and judges today. It's called the Uniform Civil Procedures Rules. It is an illegal act passed by traitorous politicians without a referendum and ignored by apathetic churchmen. Most of it would be thrown out immediately if exposed to an informed jury. It was dreamed up by solicitors and judges for their own financial gain. They ignore me completely, and most of their 600 or so rules are in direct conflict with both my Section 109 and Section 15A of the Acts Interpretation Act, and yet they are continually changing their rules. That evil document is based on the lie that a single judge can make orders without your consent or without a jury, just like Big Bad John, King John. Section 109.
When a law of a state is inconsistent with the law of the Commonwealth, the latter shall prevail, and the former shall to the extent of the inconsistency be invalid.
Remember sections 79 and 80 regarding single judges and juries? Now do you understand why they're so afraid of me, and especially juries? Your slavery today is not with whips and chains. It is much more subtle. It has crept up on you, especially over the last 50 years. You say, slavery? What slavery? Then why are you going to pay over $1 million for your $300,000 home? Who gets the extra $700,000? Why do you pay up to half your income in taxes? If you don't pay, they'll fine you or jail you. And you say you're not a slave? Please don't say that all your taxes are used to run the country. A major chunk of your tax tribute is to pay the interest on government debts to the bank. Did you know that in 1920, taxation was only 2.5%? You are slaves today to public debt, inflation, bankruptcies which can result in suicides, and foreclosures on your homes and small businesses. How would you like to buy your $300,000 home under a proper money system? The $300,000 is made up of raw materials and human effort, nothing else. Under a proper system, your home loan is really credit granted to you for your future work and production. That is, your ability to repay. Regardless of who prints the money, tickets or electronic blips on a computer, be it government or even a bank operating legally, your new home represents an increase in the national wealth, namely one house. But there is one extra human effort to include. That is the bookkeeping for that new money. Suppose you make 300 payments, so someone has to do 300 bits of work. Allow them $50 per payment. That's a total of 300 by $50, or $15,000. So the total cost of your home should not be $1 more than $315,000. And that is the amount to be created. And you agree to repay it at $1,050 per month for 300 months, or 25 years. Listen carefully. Under that proper system, there would be zero inflation. But under the current interest system, you must repay over $1 million. That, my people, is the source of all inflation, and that is your slavery. You can defeat this modern slavery by firstly reclaiming the courts. They belong to you, my people. Read my chapter 3 for the administration of justice. Don't be deceived by judges and solicitors who will try and tell you that I am not valid today. The High Court says they're lying. When you play your part to make sure this CD is widely distributed, there will be vicious reaction when you start taking banks and solicitors to court in thousands of actions for their fraud. That is, variable interest and costs orders. You can go back 6 years. Now they'll argue that if every trial is going to be by a jury, then the courts would be jammed. Not so. Did you know that when a jury trial is actually granted these days, over 90% of cases are settled out of court before the jury trial? It is solicitors who encourage the ongoing court actions. They grow fat off their incestuous system. Now you know why they desperately protect each other against anyone exposing their crimes and fraud. It's been well known that for many years there's been much abuse of the law by judges and solicitors in the Federal Magistrates Court, and it was starting to be exposed. No wonder they were anxious to abolish that court on the 5th of April 2009. Their story was that it was uneconomic. Yeah, right. Nevertheless, you can expect a lot of lies and attacks against this CD from the media. They will lie, they will distort the facts, and they will rubbish any reform as printing press money, wild inflation or whatever. Of course notes and coins are made on printing presses. They don't grow on trees. Whatever they do, even threats of massive financial crisis, don't panic. It's not a problem, because under Section 51, your government can, in only a few weeks, restore your money system to represent the real wealth, your farms, your minerals, your homes, your transport systems, and much else. Generally, politicians are not held in the highest esteem, but they too have mortgages and children trying to buy a home or get a job. When they get to understand the solution and forget the party politics, they have access to honest experts who know how to fix the money system legally, morally, and efficiently. Governments do not have to go cap in hand to banks for finance to build roads, hospitals, or whatever. In Section 51(4), 12, and 13, they already have the power to create real money with no interest for government projects. A new road costing